I think everybody is sort of wowed by this roller coaster of news that's happened over the last week and what, in fact, Bob Iger can and will do and what it's going to ultimately mean for the company, its valuation and everything else. What are you expecting in terms of first moves at this point?
Well, it's been an interesting couple of days, certainly for Disney, that has had no shortage of drama in the last couple of years. I think Bob Iger, day one, literally of 2.0 of his CEO job 2.0, he made a big move. He announced that a restructuring that had been implemented in the fall of 2020 that had been controversial from day one internally. He basically said in a memo that was over. And a key executive that had been part of that left the same day, one of Bob Chapek's top lieutenants, Kareem Daniel. So that was a strong signal, not 24 hours after he was announced as coming back, he was going to make that big change.
Let me ask you this, though.
There, people know that there is more change to come.
Right. Cynthia, one of the things that happened, as you know, is investors cheered this decision, and you saw the stock move up in a material way. And one of the things that I wonder is whether he is going to have to reset expectations, whether he's going to come public and say, look, I got into this thing. I mean, this could be a David Zaslav story. I got into this thing. Look at this mess over here. There's a mess behind me. And maybe you throw everything in the kitchen sink even at that point. But at some point, if you're going to have to both talk about the mess that is behind you and even talk about sort of level setting expectations going forward, what does that really look like? And how should investors think about that?
I think that's a great question. I think Disney looked around and looked at these big questions, looked at the numbers on its balance sheet, and realized that there was going to be a lot of a lot of communication and a lot of discussion with the investment community, with consumers around pricing. They looked around and realized that there were going to be a lot of difficult conversations, and was Bob Chapek the right person to lead them? And they had Bob Iger right there available. He was right on the precipice of doing some bigger deals that would have made him not available for this extraordinary return. And I think they looked around and thought, these are choppy waters. Do we want to go through these with Bob Iger at the helm? And I think the answer was yes. And I just want to point out that there is an aspect here that Bob Iger is returning to fully see through the execution of a plan that he set up in 2017 and 2018. So this is really interesting.